What is up, everyone? This is Pongroomproductions. We've been MIA for a little while, but we are back, and we're going to give you another movie review. I'm sure some of y'all have seen this already, but Oppenheimer. We just sat through it. Very long movie, 3 hours. This is actually my second time seeing it, and that's going to affect my bias rewatchability score. You're going to have to take the lead on that one, and we're going to have to get you to answer first for the rewatchability.
Okay, but we'll get to that. Yeah,
We're going to include spoilers in this discussion, simply because it's been out for many days.
week and a half, something like that.
Many days, yeah. And if you haven't seen it by now, you may have seen some reviews on YouTube. Everyone's reviewing this movie, and of course, we are jumping on that bandwagon. Mike, what do you think?
Are we going straight up number first,
Um,
or you like give like an overall opinion?
give your overall.
Okay, simply put, great cast, great director, Christopher Nolan. What can you say?
Right.
Cillian Murphy, fantastic actor. You know, one of the greats. All of that. He's fantastic in the movie. The first half of the movie, I was thinking like, wow, this is a masterpiece. I'm thinking this in the theater as I'm watching it. Then comes the second half of the movie, and it's all interspersed and intertwined, you know, Christopher Nolan style, where it's like all edited and,
Yeah.
you know, the stuff that happens in the end you see in the beginning, the stuff in the beginning you see in the end, and all mixed up and everything. And there's different, anyway, Christopher Nolan style. But anyway, the first hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm like mesmerized. And it's like, this is so great.
Okay.
Then comes the last hour and a half, hour or so, and it got tedious. It became like a whole inside politics,
Courtroom.
intrigue. Yeah, courtroom intrigue. And I know I guess it's based. It was based on a book or something, right? About
Yes.
Oppenheimer.
Prometheus, some type of.
Yeah, something like that. So it's about all of his, a hell of his history. But I was there for the stuff about the bomb, not for all of the political intrigue.
Yeah.
And so if you want a number, first 2 hours, first hour and a half, I'm giving like a 9.5.
Ooh.
However, last hour, it's like a different movie to me. It's almost like it's
You got to give it as just a
you
one.
want, I know.
a one
I hear you.
score.
I'm just trying to give a little context.
Yeah.
Second half
I
was
hear you.
just, oh my god. I'm looking at my watch. The second half, overall score,
1 to 10.
out of respect to Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy, I'm gonna give it an 8.
An 8. Okay. And you were at a 9. Except
I was at a 9. You
except-
could even maybe if it had kept in that direction and that level of artistry,
Do you
whatever,
feel like
I would have given it like a 9.5, maybe even a 10. I was thinking 10 at one
Wow.
point. Yeah,
wow.
that's how high
so
it was.
you deducted 2 points.
It got
2 whole
deducted.
points.
It got
Wow.
deducted. Yeah.
Normally, I'm the one that talks about the points being deducted for this and that. And now
This
it's
is
you.
my turn.
So, right out the gate, I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
Really?
I'm not gonna give no 0.5s anymore. I'm just gonna start giving.
I gave it a
complete
straight 8,
numbers.
straight
yeah,
8.
Yeah, I give it an 8. I can agree that the last half hour of this movie, it
Half
gets
hour. Try hour.
45 minutes.
Okay.
Let's meet in the middle there.
Right.
They are slinging all this. I don't know if you picked up on that, but this happened, and then while that was happening, this was happening, and because of this little thing, that started this into motion, and it's like, okay, they really rapid fire. Like, were you paying attention this entire?
Were you
like,
taking
were
notes?
You really paying attention? Because
Yeah.
you gotta, in order to really know how the ending wraps up, you got to just be like, oh yeah, that happened. Like if you took a couple bathroom breaks in this movie,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna be like, I didn't catch that. That happened. Oh man.
If you've seen a Christopher Nolan movie, you're gonna, there's no big spoiler or like surprise mystery. What do you call it?
Twist.
There's no
Yeah.
big twist or
Plot
anything
twist.
no big plot twist. But yeah, it's very Christopher Nolan, which is a good thing until that last hour, man.
Till that last
Sorry.
hour.
Yeah.
Do you think they could have just shaved off the entire court
Put it to you like this.
scenes at the end of the movie?
And since this is a spoiler, full on, full out, Robert Downey Jr. is kind of the heavy. He's kind of the bad guy.
Yeah.
And
This is a spoiler, so you can
it's
say
a
it.
spoiler, and I'm like, I didn't give a shit.
You didn't really
I
care.
didn't really care. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And his aide,
Because he
who was
wasn't.
kind of like against him and was like
Well,
the more.
that was like.
Was he his aide?
It
See, I don't
wasn't
even
like
know.
it
I don't
wasn't
even
even
know.
like his lawyer, but
It was like
kind
one
of
of
like
his congressional aides or
he
something.
kind of
Wasn't
like
it?
started.
He
this,
worked for him, right?
He saw like his like arrogant, like insidious
and I
side.
and I didn't like that actor. I don't want to get into the actor, whatever.
Well,
But that made me
yeah.
like and feel sorry for Robert Downey Jr. in a way. And yes, Robert Downey Jr. Like Chris was asking me the whole time, like, it's because you don't like Robert Downey Jr. And it's like
Right.
I like Robert Downey Jr. I don't love him,
Yeah.
and that was probably a factor
Yeah.
too. Like if it had been cast with a different actor. But that should have played into it because I'm not crazy about Robert Downey Jr. So you think that would make it that I would be like more, I don't know. I felt sympathetic towards him, and he's supposed to be the bad guy. We're all supposed to be like, oh, that piece of shit, when he's
Right?
doing
How dare
Oppenheimer.
he?
And
He's
I
a
just
hero.
and I was ambivalent to even feeling sorry for him, So whatever.
Basically, the movie's great. If you go and see it, which I'm sure many people are, because the only other movie is basically Barbie.
A lot of people seeing Barbie.
A lot of people are seeing Barbie. I saw a ton of pink outfits.
Oh yeah.
But basically, this movie is not solely about the invention of the atom bomb.
Right.
It's a bit of like a dive into Oppenheimer's life,
Yes.
so to speak.
It is called Oppenheimer.
It is called Oppenheimer, but I think a lot of us did go for the Manhattan Project aspect of the story. The intensity of the race against the Nazis to build the bomb first, and the scientific breakthroughs that
And all the moral stuff around
Yes.
it, ethical,
Do you think? Oh, we're getting some cell phone feedback.
Oh,
One of
is
us has got to be getting a text message.
I
or
don't
something.
think I'm getting anything.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like after Oppenheimer was giving his speech and everyone was kicking on the ground and it was just getting super loud,
Yeah.
and I feel like the movie could have maybe have ended there.
That
You know what I
would
mean?
be that kind of made sense as an
would've-
end point.
We would have understood the fact that, like, okay, tons of people died. 2 cities got bombed. He's like just now grasping the reality of it. He goes outside and he's seeing a couple scientists like vomit in the streets.
Right.
And then he's seeing how the Americans like celebrate it because they won, because we're the first ones to have used it. And then he's got to deal with it because he brought it to existence. And of course, it could have just been up to, was it right to do it? Could they have surrendered? Or did we need to do it in order to force the surrender? You know what I mean? It would have brought that can of worms into the discussion. But, yeah, I agree with you that the last 45 minutes of the movie take away from it.
And there were also a couple of moments, and I know we've already used up like 8 minutes or so. So I think we can expand a little bit more.
Go
There's
ahead.
a lot to talk. It's a
Go
3-hour
ahead.
movie. It's
It
going to
is
be a long
3 hours.
review.
It's hard to just sum it up.
Just to get quickly into it, there were a couple of scenes where Christopher Nolan is dramatizing, like what's happening inside the character's mind, and
You're talking about the sex scene.
the sex scene. Yeah, there was a scene where we're shown Cillian Murphy having sex with Florence Pugh, I believe it is. And while he's in a trial, so
Yeah.
if they're in a trial and you see a naked Cillian Murphy and
Out of nowhere.
and it's just bizarre.
and then
it's-
she like looks at
and the wife is looking
And
at
then
them,
she, like,
and it's
looks
like,
at her in
yeah,
the
and we
face,
get it.
like,
It's
yeah.
the wife is having an angry vision.
Yeah.
but it was just too much.
At
It
the
was to
same-
me. If I would have been in the room or like an editor, I'd have been like, Chris, come on, man.
let's
You
dial
know?
that back. At
I mean,
the
I
same
know what
time-
you're going for, but come
Yeah,
on, man.
Like she started expressing rage in the background, so like you can definitely tell she's putting the pieces together that an
Yeah.
affair had happened, but she was also taking part in an affair with Oppenheimer when they had
Oh
first
yeah.
met.
Oh, it's a whole mess.
So it's like
yeah.
that whole like
he was kind of a playboy.
yeah, it's kind of like that whole once a cheater, always a cheater thing.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like if you can go and cheat and then he's cheating, how could you also be so mad think that he might cheat on
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I'm pointing to the fact that it was just kind of too ridiculous a scene. You know, it's just too much.
Let's talk about the two scenes that you can take for like either.
Sorry, that's my thing going off. It's
okay.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that really screwed everything up. Sorry.
Yeah. We got some audio feedback.
Oh crap! Is that my phone going off, or check your phone?
Anyway,
sorry.
Let's talk about the scene where. Hold on.
Oh, is it that damn button?
Let's talk about the bathroom scene where they kind of insinuate that the United States military had a hand to play in the murder of one of Oppenheimer's
It's ambivalent.
ex-wives.
Yeah, it's ambivalent. But he certainly feels guilty for her death.
Because she was part of the Communist Party and that he had gone back to see her and it should not have happened. And at this point, he was so far into the development of the atom bomb that they were basically like, that she could just, it could have been an information exchange and she might be the spy. Because at that
it's not hard to believe either way.
At that point,
it's not hard to believe.
Yeah, at that point, they knew information was being leaked, but they didn't know who was the spy, so they just kind of insinuated.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
we're going to kill, that person.
Yeah, definitely. And then Casey Affleck makes an appearance as he's like the head of security, some military guy.
He played like a colonel.
And they were implying that he was going to torture and, kill some of his scientists,
right.
To see who is...
basically anyone that might be a spy.
Yeah, so he was kind of a heavy for a minute. There's so much to this movie.
There's a ton.
So put it to you like this. Are we going to talk about rewatchability?
Let's do it. I saw it twice. I'm going to give rewatchability a 7 because if someone else wanted to go see it, I would probably go see it one more time. If it came on television or I saw it on Netflix, I would click on it and watch it. And that's about it. I don't think I can see it a fourth or fifth or sixth time, but I can probably see it one more time in theaters with someone who hasn't gone and seen it. That being said, seeing it a second time, I actually liked the movie more.
Really?
Yes.
What got better?
Well, my gripe with it is the very beginning. I don't like how quick they just blast through his childhood. They throw him right into college. You know what I mean?
I would have liked to have seen more of that. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather have more of that than the end of his life.
Yeah, they really skipped over the beginning of his life. And then they really just focus, okay, and now he is a scientist and go. They don't really talk about...
Because it was fascinating, the beginning stuff about him. Yeah, they could have really... I'd rather them expand on that and shrink down the last hour and a half.
I agree with that. I didn't like the pacing of the beginning. But once
it was fast-paced,
it was very fast-paced. But once it got into the Manhattan Project itself, that was the best moments of the movie.
Sure.
All the strings being pulled, all the secrecy, all the theories being thrown around, the calculations...
There's a lot of great scenes.
Yeah, very intense stuff, and the breakthroughs. And
what do you think about Matt Damon as the general?
I liked him.
I thought it was a bad casting choice.
Really?
He's got too much of a young face, and he just is too Matt Damon to believe as like a 60-year-old general or whatever his age was supposed to be, 50 or whatever. Which is, I know he is. The
real general doesn't exactly look like what they were going for.
I don't even know what the real general look like. It just doesn't look like a general to me.
You think? Well, he's
got a baby face. He
was only a 1-star general.
He wasn't even a general yet. He was whatever he was.
And all that stuff is portrayed.
And then he was going to become a general, but I don't know. I wouldn't have. I like Matt Damon, but I wouldn't have cast him in that role. I thought that was a bad call.
Interesting. I can see another person playing the general and it still having the same effect as
there was a movie
going for.
Gotcha. Not to get into it, but there was a movie in the 80s called, I believe it was called Fat Man, Little Boy, and it's about the Manhattan Project. Okay. And it starred, I forget the actor's name. He was in the A-Team. He was the crazy guy in the A-Team, and he played Oppenheimer. I know that guy, yeah. And who played the general, who was the Matt Damon in this one, was Paul Newman. Now, Paul Newman was a great choice. Nice. Paul Newman is Paul Newman. Yeah. So he was great as the general. I saw that as a kid on TV. I
I'm gonna
can't
have to give
remember.
that a watch.
It's a good movie.
Give that a watch.
It's really, and it's a whole different take, and he's the main character, Oppenheimer, in that. So, but
What do you give the rewatchability? You only saw
Right.
it once. I give it a 7. I would see it one more time, and it did get better on a
got better.
second
Yeah,
watch.
I'm sure it would
got
be.
better.
Damn, that's a tough question. A tough one, a tough number. I'm
You're fresh out the movies.
I'm fresh out. I agree with all the things you're saying. Like if my wife said, "Hey, I want to see it," I would see it with her. You know, that would be interesting to share it with someone else. But if it's just me, do I want to see it again?
By yourself.
I've seen enough.
Really?
And I know how long it is, and I know what I'm in store for the last hour.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say 6 rewatchability. I know.
Ooh, that's still pretty high though.
It's better than average.
You wouldn't even go lower. You would only
Close. I'm close to going lower, but I'm going to hold steady at
hold it a 6.
hold a 6. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. We agree on an 8 out of 10 overall.
Yeah. Agreed on an 8.
I would have given it a 7. But seeing it twice, it got better.
It got better.
The sex scenes were a bit. Let's take a point off for that one scene. In
That
the
scene was
courtroom.
that was hard not
Yeah.
to be like, what the F?
Yeah,
you
let's
know?
take 1 point off for that, and let's take 1 point off for the last 30 minutes with Robert Downey Jr. Because
100%. There are enough great scenes in the movie. He could have cut off 45 minutes and it'd have been a 10.
it would have been
I could easily see this movie being
Yes.
edited down to a 10.
wrap it up. There you go.
Yeah.
And
2 hours and 20 minutes. You would have got all the gist of it, and you could have cut out all the political. That could have been chopped up and made into a quick vignette. Who knows?
Right.
Whatever. I'm not a director,
Right.
but the movie has the bones, the makings of a masterpiece. It's just too long,
Didn't
too
stick
much
the
political
landing.
intrigue. Yeah, the end is just like whatever. And then you get to see him in like old man makeup, which was
Yeah.
like fake as hell looking.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman as Truman, I didn't like that.
Didn't
I didn't
like
like
that.
They
I
kind of
didn't
shit
like
on
that either.
Truman.
I
They kind
didn't
of
like
shit
that
on
either.
Truman. As an American, you're like, hey man, chill out with these British actors playing Americans, you know, whatever.
What's
Chill the fuck out.
Where's the real representation?
Yeah, I know. You don't. Well, you know, whatever.
Let's get an
Oh my
American
God.
to play an
The whole
American president.
The whole cast is British. It's like Cillian Murphy is Irish. I mean, that's not British, I guess. I don't know. I forget. But
Not from
he's
the United
Irish.
States.
Florence Pugh, I think, is English. You know, they're all from England,
Yeah.
Ireland, Great Britain. What's her name? Emily Blunt is
Yeah,
English or
yeah.
whatever.
What
oh
about
my God.
what about the real big tall scientist that was doing the experimental work or right across the hallway?
Are we talking about Josh Hartnett?
Is he an American?
Yeah, he's American. Josh
And he
Hartnett.
was
And,
like-
and you haven't seen him in
he-
like 20 years,
yeah,
so
he
he's
was like-
he's back.
He's like,
Yeah.
get these politics out of here.
Yeah, that was Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
He is an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They didn't show him in the last. They showed him in the hallway when Oppenheimer was having a bad time, realizing like I just went on record with some really crazy
and he's
stuff.
like, let me go around the
Yeah,
other way.
and I guess what, because he was always like, this stuff's gonna come back to haunt you, and then I guess it was kind
he
of like
decided not to testify.
it was
or
kind of
whatever,
like
you
I
know.
told you so moment. I'm
I
assuming
guess.
like don't lay on like
There's too many things happening. It's just too much with the political intrigue. It's just too much, man. Cut that shit out. I
it
don't care
out.
if it's in the book. Make some dramatic choices to take it out and sculpt it. Could have had a 10, Chris Nolan. Could have had a 10. Could have got a 10 from Pongroomproductions. You blew it. You blew
drop
it.
the ball.
You blew
Well,
it.
let's wrap up, guys. We're at 18 minutes.
Okay.
it's time.
It's a long movie.
8 out of 10 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Let's land at a. You
wanna
said
say 6.5?
6.5.
Rewatchability? We're gonna average it? Okay, that's
I
cool.
say 7. You say 6.
Right.
For another person, let's go 6.5.
Sure. Sounds good.
Comment down below if you think the movie was too long. All
We're
right, guys.
interested.
We're going to give you some more reviews. We're probably going to give you Barbie pretty soon. We should probably see that in the next couple of days.
Possibly Haunted Mansion,
Possibly Haunted Mansion.
which I saw, but Chris hasn't seen
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. So it'll be, you've seen it twice. I've seen it once. Roles reversed next time if we
Right.
if we review that movie.
Right. Totally.
And yeah, just more reviews coming. If you like movies and you want to know if you should go see them, subscribe, and comment down below a movie maybe we should, backlog and watch in case it's an older movie. Yeah, let's do
Good
some
stuff.
old
Yeah,
ones
that'd be great.
because some old movies need to be reviewed.
We can do one right after this if you want. I
Now,
got a million of them.
we've been sitting for almost 4
Right,
hours.
we let it sitting. It's not healthy.
All right, guys, stay tuned.